It's my final day in the city of Cordoba in Argentina, and yesterday I was in the park, which funny enough is not too far behind me, but today I thought I'd go out and see a bit more of the city. Stuff I've not seen yet. Now, I've come out a little bit later than what I thought, and that is because the hostel I'm staying is one of the most sociable hostels I've been to. There is Europeans, Americans, a lot of South Americans, just chatting, talking, finding out more about what people have seen. Plus, I've been learning how to say the name of the city correctly. I've been saying it wrong, I think. So, Cordoba. I have spoken to Argentinians in the hostel, and they said, yeah, that's the English way of saying it, but it's correct. Oh wow, look at that. Oh, that's quite something, that. Right, need to find out what this is. So this is the church of Los Capuccinos. Wow, that's quite big. Now, it is closed up at the moment. And obviously I just looked at it and went, Cappuccinos? Is that like the cappuccino coffee? And it is a bit. So the Capuchinos is an Italian religious order. They sent their missionaries over here, and the coffee was named after them because of the colour of their robes. It was the same colour as the coffee they were having, and they went, oh, your robes are the same colour as this coffee, we will call it after you, Cappuccinos. But that is such amazing detail. Wow. And I can hear singing, and it's coming from the city bus over there. Looks like lots of people, lots of students on top. So yeah, so just see a bit of normal Cordoba life. And it is my last day because of the fact, although there is so much to do, not just in the city but in the province itself, my budget really can't stretch that far. So I know that once I've been back to UK and I've saved, I will be back, because there is stuff I really want to see. Paseo del Buen Pastor. So this little plaza, the Paseo del Buen Pastor, is opposite the church of Los Capuccinos, and as you can see, there are just people chilling, relaxing in the sunshine. But this used to be a woman's prison from the early 1900s. It was run by the Buen Pastor nuns, and all the bad women would get imprisoned here. However, on this, I think it's a memorial. All these pillars have got pictures of various women, and these were political prisoners in the mid-70s. They actually escaped from the prison, and a few of them sort of disappeared. This was during the bad period of Argentinian history. And this prison actually closed down in the early 2000s, and now it's just a nice place to sit around. You can see that they're updating it with a bit of modern art. That looks cool. Wow. And then when you get to the front of this plaza, beautiful fountain. More people enjoying the sunshine. And it is hard to believe that there would be a women's prison right in the centre of the city, with the church overlooking it. So I've already been back to the hostel. My phone was dying, so I had to recharge it. And since I've been back, the sunshine is gone and clouds have taken its place. But I've come back out to the River Suquía, I think that's how you say it. And the first thing I've come across is a statue to Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. That's random. So it's in between two bridges. You've got the Centenario Bridge, built in 1910 to celebrate the 100 years of independence. But when you look at the river itself, it's not a major river. I mean, there's nowhere you can get ships, boats floating in that. But as it goes east, it joins onto the major rivers going down. And then you've got this modern bridge. It's a pedestrian which takes you to a park on the other side. And all the way down, you've got cycle paths, you've got running paths. That looks quite cool. I'm not too sure if I'm going to have a wander across, because it took a long time to charge my phone up and it's getting quite late. But the name of this is the 450th anniversary bridge. That's the sort of thing you see in a European city. That looks really cool. Oh, there is still a little bit of blue skies. I just felt a bit of raindrops coming down. Well, I might as well cross it. I'm here. I think the main reason is because I've just seen a gold statue over there, and I was curious. So there's the river up above. Now I wonder if this comes straight from the mountains. This is actually a big park. You got a bandstand over there. You got families sitting around. And you've got one group of people having a picnic over there. And there's, it probably isn't gold. So if I come back a bit so I can get them all in, including his fancy bow tie. But this is Carlos Gardel, and he was, or is, the biggest tango singer in history. He's an absolute icon in Argentina. So he lived in the early 1900s. He actually died in 1935 in a plane crash. But basically he's Argentina's version of Elvis and Frank Sinatra all rolled into one, but tango. Wow, I might have to have a little dig in him later on in the hostel to see if I know any of his tunes. But if he's like the most famous tango singer in Argentina, how come that's the first statue I've seen? I mean, that is a really good pose. I'm quite impressed with that. So all around the park you've got people selling stuff, and at the moment I'm just getting bit to death by mosquitoes. And just at the gate down there, don't know if you can just see her, there's a young lady selling cookies, and I just bought some. I feel a little bit peckish. She was quite impressed that someone from England has bought some cookies off her. So I'm just going to find a little seat, sit down. I mean, they're big, 3,000 pesos. I mean, that's my budget for the day, just about gone. I'm sure it's going to be worth it. This is quite a nice area, and what I do like the fact is, even though over there's the park, just down there is a dedicated running and cycle path. This is something that you don't get on the tourist map. Found a nice little quiet area. Got the cookie. Oh wow. It's not sugary sweet, but it is sweet. That's freshly cooked. That's made probably today. That is quite nice. Oh, it's very chewy. I like it. Right, I moved on, and the 2 cookies I had, I was just going to have one and then one later on, but they were too good to eat, so I had both of them. So I have moved on, and one of the reasons I'm late is I've been trying to find the train station, and this is it. And I'm standing underneath the tree because it's raining. Unbelievably, it was blue skies and sunshine earlier on, and my camera's not waterproof. So when I looked at Google Maps, I put in train station because I wanted to see the only working train station that I've seen since I've been in Argentina, not since Buenos Aires. It sent me about 30 minutes that way. This is the train station it sent me to. It was called the Alto train station. Someone there said, oh, we've had no trains working here for about 3 years. And they went, oh, you mean the main one? This is it. So wherever I've been in Argentina, in the smaller cities, towns, there's always been a railway station abandoned, not used. And when you think back to the start of the 20th century, 1900s, Argentina had one of the biggest rail network in the world, built by the British, invested by the British with the engineers, money, and then it declined. It declined so much that in the 1960s, the government decided to privatize the railway company, and a lot of the railway lines were closed, which is a shame because a year and a half ago I was in Malaysia, and their network is amazing, and they're investing like millions and millions over the next couple of years to make it, oh wow, to make it bigger. Oh wow, that is like the original sort of ticket office. But even today, the railways, like from here all the way to Buenos Aires, will take between 18 and 20 hours. First class. So you know Espanol? Speak English? Oh, go out. Oh, sorry. Oops. Oh, didn't take any photographs. But taking a bus will take half the time. I got told off. Just checked it to make sure I'm right. So a train will take 18 to 20 hours to go from here to Buenos Aires. A bus 10 to 12 hours, and a flight 1 hour to an hour and a half. But that looks amazing. So it's been a long day. I've seen lots. I've been lost. It's like the perfect last day in Cordoba, and I am leaving tomorrow. But tonight I need to sit down and seriously look at flights. As you know, I've been looking on the Middle East conflict and all the flights being affected by fuel, etc. And already, as of today, Europe's got about 6 weeks left of fuel for aircraft, and flights are being cancelled already. Smaller destinations, not major ones. And I'm starting a little bit to get panicky. So yeah, I'm gonna sit down, look at what's happening, what's available, see if it's worth going back, worth staying. I don't know. But yeah, tomorrow morning I'm on a bus going to Santa Fe. I just remembered. And I'm going to be there for the next couple of days. But if you've enjoyed this, then press that like button. If you want to see what Santa Fe is like, then press that subscribe button. But before this rain gets any worse, I need to go back to the hostel. Bye bye for now.